Nature became then an adversary that you must control, yet underneath he felt that he was at the mercy of nature, because in cutting himself off from it, he also cut himself off from using many of his own abilities. It was at this point that the nature of the conscious mind itself became so misunderstood, and those unrecognized or denied powers were assigned to unconscious portions of the self by ensuing schools of psychology. Very natural functions of the conscious mind, therefore, were assigned to the underground and cut off from normal use. Give us a moment. Because the conscious mind has been so stressed while stripped of many of its characteristics, there is now an overreaction occurring in which normal consciousness is being put down, colloquially speaking. Emotion and imagination are being considered as far superior. The displaced powers of consciousness are still being assigned to the unconscious, and great efforts are being made to reach what seem to be normally inaccessible areas of awareness. To this end, drugs are utilized, cults set up, and there are methods and training manuals galore, period. Yet there is nothing basically inaccessible about such inner knowledge or experience. It can all be quite conscious and utilized to enrich the reality that you know. The conscious mind is not some prodigal child or a poor relative of the self. It can quite freely focus into inner reality when you understand that it can. You again have a conscious mind. You can change the focus of your own consciousness. There have been tyrannies propagated for various reasons by the race of man upon itself. One of the greatest, however, is the ideal that the conscious mind does not have any touch with the fountains of its own being, that it is divorced from nature, and that the individual is therefore at the mercy of unconscious drives over which he has no control. Man therefore feels himself powerless. If the purpose of civilization is to enable the individual to live in peace, joy, security, and abundance, then that ideal has served him poorly. When a man or a woman feels no connection between personal reality and experience and the surrounding world, then he or she loses even an animal's sense of pure competence and belonging. Your beliefs once more form your reality, shaping your life in all of its conditions. All of the powers of your inner self are set into activation as a result of your conscious beliefs. You have lost a sense of responsibility for your conscious thought because you have been taught that it is not what forms your life. You have been told that regardless of your beliefs, you are terrorized by unconscious conditioning. As long as you hold that conscious belief, you will experience it as reality. Some of your beliefs originated in your childhood, but you are not at their mercy unless you believe that you are. Because your imagination follows your beliefs, you can find yourself in a vicious circle in which you constantly paint pictures in your mind that reinforce negative aspects in your life. The imaginative events generate appropriate emotions which automatically bring about hormonal changes in your body, or affect your behavior with others, or cause you to interpret events always in the light of your beliefs. And so daily experience will seem to justify what you believe and more. I think I'm rereading some I've already read, but that's all right. The only way out of it is to become aware of your beliefs, aware of your own conscious thought, and to change your beliefs so that you bring them more in line with the kind of reality you want to experience. Imagination and emotion will then automatically come into play to reinforce the new beliefs. As mentioned, the first important step is to realize that your beliefs about reality are just that, beliefs about reality, and not necessarily attributes of reality. You must make a clear distinction between you and your beliefs. You must then realize that your beliefs are physically materialized. What you believe to be true in your experience is true. To change the physical effect, you must change the original belief, while being quite aware that for a time, physical materializations of the old beliefs may still hold. If you completely understand what I am saying, however, your new beliefs will, and quickly, begin to show themselves in your experience. But you must not be concerned for their emergence, for this brings up the fear that the new ideals will not materialize, and so this negates your purpose. I mentioned a game in which you playfully adopt an ideal that you want to materialize, then imagine it happening in your mind. Know that all events are mental and psychic first, and that these will happen in physical terms, but do not keep watching yourself. Continue with the game. You are doing the same thing now constantly and automatically with whatever beliefs you have, and they are being as constantly and automatically translated. It is the separation of self from beliefs that is so important initially, however. You are not to hammer at yourself consciously. Imagination and emotion are your great allies. Your conscious direction will automatically bring them into play. You can see why it is so important that you examine all of your beliefs about yourself and the nature of your reality. And one belief, if you let it, will lead you to another. Now, much has been written saying that if imagination and willpower are in conflict, imagination will win. Now I tell you, if you examine yourself, you will find that imagination and willpower are never in conflict. Your belief may conflict, but your imagination will always follow your willpower and your conscious thought and beliefs. If this is not apparent to you, then it is because you have not as yet completely examined your beliefs. Let us take a simple example. You are overweight. You have tried diets to no avail. You tell yourself that you want to lose weight. You follow what I have said so far. You change the belief. You say, because I believe I am overweight, I am. So I will think of myself at my ideal weight. But you find that you still overeat. In your mind's eye, you still see yourself as overweight. Imagine the goodies and snacks, and in your terms, give in to your imagination. And you think that willpower is useless and conscious thought powerless. But pretend that you go beyond this point. In sheer desperation, you say, all right, I will examine my beliefs further. Now this is a hypothetical case, so you may find one of innumerable beliefs. You may, for instance, find that you believe you are not worthy and hence should not look attractive, or that health means physical weight and it is dangerous to be slim. Or you may find that you feel and believe that you are so vulnerable that you need the weight, so people will think twice before they shove you around. In all of these cases, the ideal will be conscious. You have entertained them often, and your imagination and emotions are in league with them and not in conflict. Okay, then they took a break. Do you want a break or do you want to end the session? We'll take a break, as you will. To me, Jane's very deep trance had seemed to be quite impervious, her delivery fueled by a driving energy. She confirmed that she hadn't been bothered in the slightest by anything and added that Seth was really able to continue until dawn. It certainly seemed so. Moreover, she sat waiting for me to finish these notes, and so that Seth could return. He was ready with some personal data for us, he said, and this would be followed by more book dictation if we stayed up for it. He also gave some unrecorded material during a freer exchange between the two of us. I described this to Jane after the session, while it was fresh in my memory. Jane sat quietly, still in trance, while I wrote a few lines. Then she resumed book dictation. Now, you may be poor. Following my suggestion, you may try to alter the belief and say, my wants are taken care of and I have a great abundance. Yet you may still find yourself unable to meet your bills. Imaginatively, you may see the next bill coming. with you unable to pay it. I will have enough money, you say. This is my new belief. But nothing changes, so you think my conscious thoughts mean nothing. Yet upon examination of your beliefs, you may find a deep conviction of your unworthiness. You may find yourself thinking, I am no one to begin with, or the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, or the world is against me, or money is wrong. People who have it are not spiritual. You may discover again one of numerous beliefs that all lead to the fact that you do not want to have money or are afraid of it. In any case, your imagination and your beliefs go hand in hand. You may be trying to remember your dreams. Another example, you may give yourself appropriate suggestion each night only to awaken again with no memory of them. You may say, consciously I want to remember my dreams, but my suggestions do not work. Therefore, what I want on a conscious level has little significance. Yet, if you examine your beliefs more carefully, you will find one of many possible beliefs, such as, I'm afraid to remember my dreams, or my dreams are always unpleasant, or I'm afraid to know what I dreamt about, or I want to remember my dreams, but they may tell me more than I want to know. In this case, also, your reality colors your beliefs, and your experience is a direct result of your conscious attitudes. By such attitudes as these just mentioned, you put clamps upon your inner self, purposely hamper your experience, and reinforce beliefs in the negative aspects of your being. Only by examining these ideas of your own can you learn where you stand with yourself. Now, I do not mean to stress the negative by any means, so I suggest that you look to those areas of your life in which you are pleased and have done well. See how emotionally and imaginatively you personally reinforced those beliefs and brought them into physical fruition. Realize how naturally and automatically the results appeared. Catch hold of those feelings of accomplishment and understand that you can use the same methods in other areas. End of dictation. And unless you have questions, end of session. Okay. I will interject something here and just end this one a little early. I'm going to admit that I had a brownie made with marijuana. Okay, I ate the thing. I didn't feel anything, so I ate a second one. Still didn't feel anything, so I ate a third one. And then I went to my room and I started watching a video that I really liked, that had always impressed me, but only this time as I listened to it, I guess the brownies kicked in, because everything the person said was so profound, and I felt so good because it was something I resonated with and had always liked this particular video. And anyway, finally the video was over, and there I was thinking, oh, I feel, ooh. And I started thinking about how my body felt, and I thought, I feel like I have a headache now. And I had one right away, as soon as I even said the word headache. And if I thought I was nauseous, then suddenly I just felt like I was going to throw up. And if I felt anything, like I was dizzy or something, if I just thought I feel dizzy, I was instantly dizzy. I started getting worried about myself. And then someone told me, who walked into the room where I was, this is not good, because this would be what you call a bad trip. Because if you're going to take this stuff, you have to be in a good mood and think of good things, and it will enhance that. And I knew she was right, because I had just listened to that profound video that I felt so deeply within myself to be true. But then when I thought about how I felt and the video was over, it was like, I'm afraid to think. I was trying to tell her what I thought about how I felt, and as I told her about what I thought about what I felt, I would feel it again, just in the telling to her of that. So I finally said, well, I can't tell you because if I tell you, I'll feel it. Anyway, it wasn't a pleasant experience, not the second half of that. And then I had to just keep my mind on something kind of humdrum. But I was so discombobulated, so to speak, that I couldn't purposely go to anything on my computer that I wanted to listen to that would take my mind in a different direction, a better one. So this person put something on the computer for me, but it was boring. But at least it was something that kept me hearing some other thoughts than how do I feel. I was afraid to go to sleep. I was afraid I might dream. I felt even worse. And then it was an experience. And the reason I wanted to experience it was that I thought that there would be some mind expansion in this and some discovering another kind of reality through the use of that. And it was. It turned out that it reinforced my beliefs that I had only just had, well, I don't know how to say, a book knowledge of, like reading what I'm reading to you here, that your beliefs cause your environment and they cause your physical sensations. Well, that really brought it home to me that, yeah, it does. With the aid of that drug, I could think, oh, I feel nauseous, and I suddenly was. Because you can create right out of the thin air whatever you really believe is true. And you might swear that, no, I wouldn't believe that way, but you will if you are in the habit of thinking in negative terms about your life, how you feel, your bills, your personality problems with other people. If you think on those things, you bring them about. And there's a verse in the Bible that says, whatsoever things are of a good report, think on these. So it's important not to, well, some people say wallow in your beer, like you're just going to cry and find somebody else that can cry with you, and you can just, both of you just cry about all that's going wrong with everything. And if you do that often enough, you'll even get to liking doing that. But it's not good. It's not good to like doing that. But it gets to be a habit. And sometimes habits have a certain kind of comfort. So, no crying in your beer. Not anymore. Learn the lesson that Seth is speaking of right here, that your thoughts are very, very important. And they're so important that we can change the world if we change our thoughts. We actually can. I wrote a poem about that one time. It's just a short one, so I will read it to you. Let's see if I can turn to it. I just wrote it for my sister the other day. It's called to World Change or Me Change. Here it is. The world will not change until we change our perception of it. We never hardly look at how we see things. We still call things good and bad. We fluctuate between the two. One day we're up, one day we're down. Because we don't understand, there is perfection in the process. We don't really know what anything is for, but we think we do, and we don't know that we don't know. And here's another one while I got a little time. I call it Not Fully Human. I don't see myself as fully human. So many humans are looking for a spiritual experience. But if we only knew, we are a spirit and we are having a human experience. And if us humans only knew the wants and desires of our own spirit self, then we would see with spirit's eyes and not hold to all that's human, where our emotions rule the day. we would be beyond pleasure and pain. We would be beyond right or wrong. We would be beyond good or bad. We would be beyond time and space. We would not even worry about the human race. When I wrote that, I was kind of, it was sort of like automatic handwriting. And I wondered about that last part. We would not even worry about the human race, because I pretty much have always worried about the human race. But I'm getting out of that bad habit. We've got to see good. We can't just focus on seeing the human race as in dire situations, or we, with our thoughts that it is, will help cause it to continue to be. So we have to call what is not as though it were. I talked about that in another video, but that's so important. So call what is not as though it were. And this is the Dove Lady, and I will talk to you in the next session.